It's one of the most grueling training courses in the U.S. military, a school where Rangers, Green Berets, Commandos, and other special units train for secret missions underwater. Our own Mark Sauter is one of the graduates, and because of that, the Pentagon gave American Journal special permission to show some parts of the course where the cost of flunking out can be high.
Off the coast of Key West, Florida, U.S. commandos are fighting an ocean current and the clock. They have 90 minutes to cover almost 2 miles of open water. Those who make the swim in time will be well on their way to graduating from the Army's Combat Diver School, a badge of honor among some of America's toughest troops. The students who go to the Combat Diver School are no rookies. They're already parachute-qualified Rangers, Green Berets, and Marines. Even, it said, top secret operators from the Delta Force, such as the men dramatized in the Chuck Norris movies. But even these hardened warriors have a tough time at the course. Around a third cannot make it through. Those who do learn the skills of sneaking onto enemy territory underwater, using high-tech gear like that seen in this exclusive video. But perhaps the most important lesson taught at the school is mind over matter. The instructors don't mind, and the pain of the students doesn't matter. Here's a never-before-seen look at the course. The men began training for the course weeks earlier on the pre-dawn back roads of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Before most soldiers can go to Key West, they've got to pass a grueling qualification course at Fort Bragg. It's called Pre-Scuba School. In some ways, this is the real test. Those who survive these 2 weeks are likely to pass the main course in Florida.
Ready, go.
The days start early with a 5:15 a.m. run. Marines, Airmen, Green Berets, Army Rangers, and secretive civilians attend the course. People Uncle Sam expects might need to infiltrate another country underwater. After the run, no break, just exercises. The specialty here is the flutter kick. Hundreds and hundreds of flutter kicks. The routine is enough to exhaust many people, even these elite paratroopers.
They constantly got you going and just wearing you down.
Terry Roberge, a Green Beret sergeant, feels it more than some of his younger buddies. He's 37 years old with a daughter in college. He volunteered for the school to help his career. Like others, he failed to make it through his first pre-scuba class. Now he's trying again to prove something to himself.
Yes, I am exhausted, but I can continue on going.
Daylight brings no rest. It's on to the next training site. The pool work is what makes this course so tough. Already tired, they are required to put on weights and then swim, and swim, and swim. The fatigue attacks their bodies and minds.
Keep going. You're not that tired, man. Your head didn't explode. Let's go.
The single most important quality in order to make it through this course, I'd say number one would be the mental toughness. Okay, you got to have it upstairs.
Staff Sergeant Joseph Valor, a Green Beret, is a pre-scuba instructor.
We're trying to push them to the limits. For some of them, we may not be getting all the way to their limits, but for others, we're going over the top. And we're giving them a run for their money, that's for sure.
Many soldiers find their limits here. About a third of the students fail the course. Some of the men are betrayed by their bodies, which simply cannot cope with the strain. Over the last decade, 2 men have died of heart attacks during combat diver training. This sergeant has injured his leg and is removed from the course.
No! Don't let yourself get close to this wall, guys.
Those who remain go through a series of pool exercises designed to overcome their fear of drowning.
You start getting excited, and that just triggers something in your body and telling you got to breathe, and then all of a sudden you shoot straight up to the surface, and that's not what you want to do.
The instructors want to be sure these students could handle the stress of a real underwater mission. Are they strong enough to tread water while holding a 20-pound weight? Focused enough to recover their gear underwater? Disciplined enough to tie a complicated knot and tie it right? Then there's a strange maneuver unique to this training. It's called bobbing. The scuba tanks are on, but the air's shut off. That means the students must bob up and down with only a moment to catch a breath. Roberge and the other students must fight to stay calm as the heavy tanks and weights drag them to the bottom. In the past, men have gone unconscious during similar exercises. They were dragged from the bottom, resuscitated, and given the chance to get back in the water or quit. Some men could not conquer their fear, but quitting is not an option for most of them.
Just keeps going and going and going and going. And that's the way you have to be here. Because if you're a quitter, or if you have that one slight mind that you're going to quit, you're not going to make it.
So now the pool work is over for the day. Time for some beers? No way. It's time for Mott Lake. After a quick lunch, the men start a 2,500-meter swim, 1.5 miles around the lake.
It builds up their strength and endurance, and most importantly, they're working on their finning technique. That'll help them out once they get down to Key West. 6505. When they come out here to do this training, it's not normal type of training that you'd get in your daily military exercises and things of that nature. So they come out here with their mind, body, and soul, and they work as hard as they can to accomplish becoming a combat diver.
Several thousand flutter kicks later, it's finally time to leave Fort Bragg and go to the real school in Florida, the month-long combat diver course. Aside from their open water swims, the men will study everything from diving physics to techniques for recovering drowning victims, and most importantly, the ways of underwater infiltration. They will swim long distances underwater at night. They will master the Draeger system, a high-tech unit which allows a diver to breathe underwater without releasing any bubbles, a stealthy way to sneak onto enemy territory. But this is the big swim, the high point of the school for many students. Most of the men who reach the beach in time will graduate. Sergeant Roberge makes it, but a number of other students ultimately do not make it through this course. Yet there's a good chance they'll be back for more flutter kicks and another shot to prove to themselves at least they have what it takes to pass the combat diver school.
Amazing. And just over 200 people from all branches of the military and some civilian agencies graduate from Combat Diver School. And we're told that some of the graduates of that course put their skills to work during the Gulf War. When we come back, a different kind of special forces, America's Beagle Brigade.
That's fascinating.